Back tomorrow, FEMA's risk rating 2.0 for the National Flood Insurance Program will go into effect for existing policyholders. Here in Louisiana, that will probably mean, you'll be paying a little bit more. Elizabeth Vowell spoke with Congressman Garret about the change.
Congressman Graves, obviously the new risk rating system for the National Flood Insurance Program was billed to make the program more fair across the board, so you're paying by your risk. But unfortunately, here in Louisiana, we know the risk is high everywhere. So what do policyholders, existing policyholders, need to know about tomorrow?
Well, first, I don't think there's anything that's fair about it. Tomorrow is going to be the worst April Fool's joke that slowly unfolds for a lot of folks across South Louisiana, where they're going to be exposed to flood insurance rates that could be double, triple, quadruple, 10 times what they're paying today. We've seen rates in some cases go from $560 a year to $9,000. Now, the change for tomorrow is only for existing policyholders. So that's people who go renew their policies, and it would be limited to an 18% increase per year, but still you would ultimately reach these just exorbitant numbers.
So, Congressman Graves, as we're hearing more about this, obviously you touched on it of existing policyholders seeing a risk of seeing their premiums increase and double and quite. We've heard some amazing numbers come out of this, some just really kind of mind-boggling numbers come out of this. And there was a lot of concern about people dropping that policy as a result. There were some coastal parish leaders who held a big press conference this week kind of asking for a delay. Is that a concern?
Oh, it's a huge concern. As a matter of fact, back in 2012 and well before I was doing this, they similarly came in and tried to significantly increase flood insurance rates. We saw a 10 to 12% drop in insurance policies in Louisiana, and that probably was a distorted figure because you had people building houses. They said there were additional houses that were being built, but you saw a 10 to 12% drop in flood insurance policies in the state of Louisiana. So it's a disincentive for people to get insurance.
So I know from your colleagues and yourself as well, there has been a lot of vocal concerns about this new risk rating and the implementation. There's been some movement to try to get FEMA to delay this for existing policyholders. What are your thoughts on that, and what are the chances of that actually happening?
Well, it's important to note the history here. This whole idea came up in the Obama administration years ago. They ended up deciding to not do it, and it popped up during the Trump administration. They decided to not do it, and now it's popped up again, and they're actually doing it. They've already implemented the first phase for all new purchases and new policies. The second phase, it goes into implementation phase tomorrow for existing policies. What we're trying to prevent this from happening. We're trying to delay it even further. We're trying to require additional transparency to where everybody would get access to their rates immediately and understand what this would do to them, to where we can have the cumulative information on how much rates would be going up. We've asked them to allow people to select whether they want to go into the new program or the old one. And look, at the end of the day, we don't want anybody to be living in a place that's susceptible to flooding or risk. We need to be building flood protection, which is why the $6 billion that we've secured for flood protection, hurricane protection, and coastal restoration, you've got to give us time to implement that. Then this really should be largely an issue that doesn't matter because people won't be susceptible to flooding in those cases.
So with this second deadline here upon us, what are the chances of getting this pushed back again?
Well, to get it stopped before tomorrow, there's not a scenario where that happens. The Biden administration, the White House and FEMA have indicated that they're not going to stop it. And so the way that this is going to happen is by congressional intervention. So we filed a number of amendments trying to stop this, trying to prevent or delay the implementation. We're getting some additional traction. We're working on new legislation right now with a big bipartisan group of folks. So a number of things that are happening. And just to be clear, I don't think we can stop it by tomorrow, but we are building a larger and larger coalition of folks as their constituents become exposed to these outrageous rates that they're going to have to pay.
All right, Congressman Graves, that's something we will definitely have to keep an eye on. Thank you very much for your time. We appreciate it.
Thank you. Take care.